What's up guys, Ben here, and at the moment I've actually been really excited because I've actually purchased the gaming and editing PC that I have been promising you guys, and I'm basically going to be announcing that this is kind of going to be kind of a playlist series kind of thing. So I'm going to be unboxing every single part, and at the end I'm going to have stuff like the build, the whole build, and we're going to have the benchmarks and gaming performance on top games like Battlefield 4 and stuff like that. So yeah, this is basically the introduction video, and you know, it's going to be a great PC, and I'm going to tell you all the specs right now. So the main thing we're going to be looking at here is the case itself, and that case I went for the NZXT H440 with the red and black color scheme, as everything in my build is going to kind of be around the red and black color scheme kind of stuff. The ROG kind of look is going to look pretty beastly, and I do like the look of the H440. At the start I was going to get the Define R5, but I really wanted a panel on my PC, like a windowed panel, and at the moment in the UK at least you cannot get the panel on the Define R5. Now you may be thinking that you could get a panel later on, like in a month's time, but the main bit, like when you first get it, you really want to look at it, don't you, like the first couple months. So I don't really want to be waiting too long before I can get the panel, and then I'll finally see it, but then I won't be as bothered at looking at it because I would have seen the case like 3 million times a day and stuff like that. So yeah, on to the next part. We have an i7 4790K, which is the CPU we're going to be using for this build. It's a quad core CPU at 4 GHz, so that's very fast, and also the boost clock on this is 4.5 GHz. But you guys may have noticed it is a K processor. Now K basically means the processor is going to be unlocked, so I can overclock this badass and it's going to be like super speed, but I probably won't overclock straight away, but definitely in the future that gives me some room to do that overclocking. The CPU is also known as the Devil's Canyon, and at the first I was going to get the 4770K, but I decided to go for the 4790K overall after I've just seen some like better temperatures, better clock speeds and stuff like that. Now obviously if I'm overclocking this, I'm going to need a decent cooler on it, and for that I went with the Corsair H100i, which is a liquid cooler which is already built together by Corsair, so it's not like a custom loop, so it's just a nice easy job. And the reasons I went for this is it's low profile, so it's going to look really nice in the case. Also it's going to stay out the way of the RAM, and you know, it's just going to keep the thing cool. It's going to be nice and cold. Now to put the CPU and the cooler together, I went with some Artic Silver 5 thermal compound, which is quite low price, so I thought I'd stick it in there, as there are some temperature decreases of something like 10 degrees, so I thought it's worth the £6 or whatever you guys are going to pay for it, $10. Just stick that in and then you get some better temperatures. If I don't use it as well, it's not going to be such a bad thing, as it was a low price, especially compared to everything else in this build. For RAM, I went with some Kingston Beast memory, which is also red and black, so it's going to look pretty beast, and that is actually clocked at 2400 megahertz, which is really fast for DDR3 RAM. That's like the top of the range DDR3. I didn't go for DDR4, as you'll find out later, my motherboard does not actually use that, and also it's very pricey, and I didn't really want to go there, especially for this build. So that's a 16 gigabytes of RAM. As you guys may have watched my video when I did say I wanted to get a PC, I did say I'm going to get 32 gigabytes, but from pricing and stuff I kind of needed to make the build a bit cheaper, so I had to stick in 16 instead of 32, as that was, I don't think I really would have used all of the 32 gigabytes of RAM, but I can also upgrade if I need to. So storage we're now going to talk about, and the main storage for like all my data, like my videos I'm going to be putting on this, and some of my games, is going to be my Western Digital Blue hard drive, which is a 1 terabyte capacity. Now this is running at 7200 RPM, so it's pretty top range for a hard drive speed. And yeah, it's a 3.5 inch drive, so it's going to go in the back of the NZXT case, and it's just basically there for storage. I've also got this like NAS box kind of thing downstairs, which I can store loads of stuff on. It's got like a RAID setup on it as well, and that's basically my dad's, but he allows me to put some stuff on there. So I've got plenty of storage. That's just in the PC storage. So yeah, now the other storage that we're gonna have is of course an SSD. And as you know or may not know, Samsung actually came out with some new SSDs recently, and for that, that's going to be the Samsung 805 EVO SSD. Now this has some sort of 3D technology, I'm not really too sure what it is, but I decided to get this over the 840 EVO as it was only about £10 more. And I did get that in a 250GB model, and it's also black, so it goes well with the theme of red and black that I'm looking for. Now I'm not using any RAID setup here, it's just literally going to be from my operating system, which will be Windows 8.1, which was also another part on my list, but obviously that's software rather than hardware, unless you're including the DVD kind of thing a part of it. Yeah, so that should have Windows, like Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Adobe After Effects, all of that kind of stuff, and I'm hoping to put Battlefield 4 on there and some of my main games that I'm going to be playing on your regular basis, as well as Word and PowerPoint and etc. So what you see here is all of the main stuff is hopefully going to be on the SSD, and the stuff that I don't need so quickly will be on the hard drive. So overall I have plenty of storage, and if not, like I said, the NAS box downstairs should be great for backing up stuff as well as keeping stuff on there. Now for the motherboard, we actually went with a red and black motherboard, and this is of course the Asus Hero VII, so that's this, the latest version of the motherboard, and this is like an ROG series motherboard, and it is very good. It supports everything I need it to support, and yeah, basically it just looks great as well at the same time, and it can do overclocking really well, and basically all you want in a motherboard. And yeah, it's also got a built-in sound card, which I will have to try out, and apparently it's okay, but maybe in the future I will be putting a sound card in this machine, but at the moment I won't be. Now what you guys would be thinking, as for a gaming build, one of the most important features, and that of course is the graphics card. And graphics card wise, I went with the EVGA 970 FTW edition card. And this does have 4GB of VRAM or RAM or something on it, but apparently it only goes up to 3.5, and then there's a slower 0.5GB on it as well. And as it's the FTW edition, it is clocked very high and out of the box, and also you can overclock this as well if you need to. But for 1080p games, which I will be using at the start at least, it should be able to do that really well in like the hundreds frames per second or so on Battlefield 4, so that'll be great. Now powering the whole build is going to be an EVGA 650W gold certified fully modular power supply. It's part of their Supernova series, and the model number is 650G, and this should have enough power to power out the whole PC, and it should have about 250W spare as well. Now I kind of had to make this cheaper. I was going to go for a 750W Corsair RM series power supply, but I needed to make the build a tiny bit cheaper to suit my budget. But yeah, so that's what happens with the power supply. Now we're keeping it safe, and we're going to be using the crucial Ballistic anti-static wrist strap, which is also reusable, so if I ever do a PC build later, I've still got that. So I'm just using that just to keep safe and all that, as I don't want to be zapping any of my parts down and then it all goes to pieces. So that about wraps the build up. Now I'm hoping to do lots of gaming on this, and of course video editing for you guys and the fun of it as well. And this video actually be edited on my dad's PC like I've been using recently, and I'm probably going to be selling my Mac soon just to get some money in the bank. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. I hope you like the PC and everything what I've chosen, and it's all confirmed bought now, and some stuff is even dispatched already. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. See you in the next one, mate. Subscribe now.